All right. Hello, folks. Welcome to another Blazor Power Hour. I'm Ed Charbonneau, and today we have an announcement to make. We've got a brand new tool for the community, and this is something that I think you'll all enjoy using and sharing. So let's bring this all up on screen. It is the Telerik REPL for Blazor. So one of the things that it's kind of been a sticking point with the new frameworks, even those like Angular, React, and Blazor included, is these SPA frameworks. They take a little bit of setup, and in the case of Blazor, it takes a compiler to get your code running. And using the traditional sharing methods of just sharing code or pressing the F12 developer tools and digging around in code and playing with the console don't really apply to this space. So what we're able to do with Telerik REPL for Blazor is get that experience back. So we have a browser-based editor experience here that we can edit and share code snippets on the web, embed them in our blogs. We'll go through all the features in detail here, but it's a really cool tool, and I hope everybody gets on and takes advantage of it and uses it to share code snippets and troubleshoot with each other and do all the great things that this enables. So let's take a look. We jump in to blazorrepl.telerik.com. That's the URL for the tool. I'll paste it in chat. Put that in there so everybody can get on and play with it. You'll be met with kind of a hello world page that you can then press run and see the code running in the browser. So you got the real-time feedback loop that we know and love about the web. Like this is the webby part of the web. Did I personally build this? No, I did not. Our engineers at Telerik built this tool. I wish I was that talented, but fortunately I work with some very, very talented people that have built this tool. So just to make sure that is clear and in the open, I personally did not build this. I am lucky enough that I get to come on here and talk about the release and celebrate a bunch of hard people's work. That's where I sit in all of this. But thanks, Rocket DevRel. So this will run your code snippets, not only markup, but Blazor code as well. So if we wanted to do the old school hello world example here, we could simply come into our code block. It's a string message, and we'll copy and paste a little bit. I think, yes, this is still on .NET 5. I can confirm that later, but I believe it is built on .NET 5. We could drop that message back up in the top, and we are using the Monaco editor here, by the way. So this is what you get in Visual Studio Code as an editor. Same engine running here in the browser. And then, of course, if we run this, you see we've still got hello world up there, and we can keep doing this. I mean, we can work right here in the browser and build out some components and do some things in Blazor, and this is really awesome. So we can work with input boxes, all that HTML stuff that we would expect from a Blazor application, but we one-upped it just a little bit. So being Telerik and having an amazing set of UI components, we thought it would be a good experience for the community to try out some of those components as well. So if we go to demos.telerik.com, I'm going to jump into a Blazor demo from our Telerik UI for Blazor page. And I'll grab the card component. That's a good one. We'll grab the card component, um, the actions, or let's see, orientation, actions. What one do I want to grab here? Let's grab the actions out of this, and we'll grab the actions. It may take a little bit of finessing here to make this work just right, but we can take our card component and drop that code right in there. And eventually, let's see here. We don't have this integrated quite yet, but oh wait, no, we do have it here. We do have it. We're ready to go. We can actually edit this right here live in Blazor REPL. It'll take us directly there. I don't have to copy and paste the thing. Silly me. I didn't know this was actually going live today, this part of it anyway. It's integrated directly with the docs. We should be able to just run the example. We are compiling, and there we go. So there's the demo live from the demo pages. Can I zoom in? It's pretty unreadable. Uh-oh. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. Is that better? Hopefully that's better, Smab. So this is the demo page that we just saw on demos.telerik.com. Notice all of our components just work in here. So our components work. I don't think some of the data binding is working on this example, though. We may have some small things to work through here as the release goes official today. But you'll notice that we do have multiple components we're capable of making. Here, let's start a new one again. Drop this out here. So if we wanted to add a brand new component, real easy one to do here is like an alert box. We can drop in with the plus sign here and just create a new alert.razor file. And we can put that in our application, and then we'll go back over to main.razor and render out our alert component. Run. And there's our alert. So we can have multiple components in these tabs as well. And we can also bring in NuGet packages. So if we want to bring in some of our favorite NuGet packages, maybe I want to process some markdown or something. So mark dig, I could bring in mark dig. And there's our mark dig package. So I could do some markdown parsing, maybe build a real-time markdown editor. So we've got the ability to bring in NuGet packages. And again, the Telerik UI for Blazor NuGet packages are already there. So if you ever want to try out any of our data grids or any of that stuff, it's there and ready for use. On top of that, let's try to get another, I wanted a smaller demo that I could bring up. Let me pull this off screen for just a second. We'll go over to demos. We find just the right one. I want to grab one. It's not got too many things going on. I just want it to be nice and simple so we can play around with it. A lot of these demos are great. They show things in a pretty complete state. I want something I can hack away at for a minute, though. Let's try grabbing that. I'll hit run here. And there we go. We've got some of our switch components here. So these are our Telerik UI for Blazor switches. And here's all the code for those switches. Everything's right here, ready to edit. You can include some CSS inline as well. But if I wanted to change some of the styling over here, check this out. We've got the Telerik UI Asset Manager. So we can jump in here and change this over to a boot or a material theme. We have different swatches for that as well. So we can toggle this around, go dark mode over there on that other panel. And now our switches are dark mode material theme. How about that? So we've got themes, the Telerik themes built in here as well. So let's talk a little bit about sharing while we're in here too. So if you wanted to see this demo that I'm running, what I can do is come up here to hit the share button. So I'll drop in here and hit share. and that's going to generate a URL for me. And if you want to visit the URL that I just edited, then that is the link for you. Now, if I had a blog post, let's say I have a blog post on my website and I've got some examples of building a component and there's different stages of that component. I can build those out and I can embed those right in my blog. And if we hit preview here, you'll see this is how it will render inside of my blog post. And what's nice about this, I can turn the error console off. I can just put the results up. So maybe I just want people to interact with the switch components that I just put in my demo. And maybe I want them to be able to edit the code. We can enable that as well. So we can toggle these different experiences and embed that in an iframe, put that right in our blog post. So we can write a blog about some sort of component that we're making or pattern that we're using and embed that right in the blog post so people can interact with it right in our blog. And you don't need to have Blazor running on that blog for that to work either. So that's some pretty cool stuff. So let's play around some more. Let's go back and build some things. We build today. This is, after all, the Blazor Power Hour. So if we go, let's go ahead and leave this page. Go back home. What can we build in Blazor REPL this morning? We've done quite a few examples here on the show. We did one where we captured swipe gestures. That was pretty cool. We've done all sorts of things on Blazor Power Hour. Let's go over to, let's go to GitHub here. I've got a repository with some things that we can take out and play with. We can even use JavaScript interop in this as well. So if we want to play around with JavaScript interop, we can do that too. And then, of course, there's the getting started page here has some examples on it too. So we can also use JavaScript files. We can use external CSS files. I can show you how to do that. That's pretty cool too. And we have some examples here of how to do things like events and two-way binding. And you can jump right into these examples: component life cycle, forms, all sorts of stuff, validation. And if you want to check any of these out, you can just click right on the Run in Blazor REPL button here, and you'll get that demo going right here. So if we want to pull in something from an HTTP request, all this stuff works right in Blazor REPL. So I'm interested in seeing what the community does with something like this and sharing REPLs. If you need help, go to Stack Overflow, drop the link in there. This could be really helpful for that type of thing. Right, let's take a look at some code. I think I've got it here. So this is one that we did on the show a while back. And I've got an error in it. This is a good time to show off the error console. We do have error handling in here as well. Visual Basic does not, I don't remember putting Visual Basic in this code. Maybe I didn't copy Microsoft Visual Basic and XML serialization. Where did these come from? I copied the wrong code, I think. I am not doing this any favors, am I? I'm grabbing the wrong code and pasting it in. Sorry about this, guys. I'm having a little technical difficulty here. And this is on me. This isn't on the REPL. Maybe we should just take something and run with it. My my GitHub repo seems to be not working correctly. So Smab says he's going to try a component he's been working on. What type of component is it? I know, Rocket Devrel, you're on point. I had a GitHub repo I was going to use today, and it's acting funny. I can't seem to find the code in it that I want to find. So we will. I know which one I can go with. I have my checkbox list. I can finally bring the checkbox list online where somebody can use it and see how it all works. So this is a good example because it requires some CSS code, and we can see how to do that. So I'm going to paste in my code here and style builder. Okay, so I need a NuGet package for this example. This is something that I have hosted up on GitHub. I need my NuGet packages that are in that project on GitHub. So I need to bring those in. So let's go over to NuGet Package Manager, and I need Blazor component utilities. And that should be enough to search and find it. And here's my NuGet package. So I need Blazor component utilities to make this work. And then if, whoops, it's still the old demo there. And then I'm going to bring in a using statement here at the top. So using Blazor component utilities. And then run. And we still have style builder does not exist. So let's see. I don't have my NuGet package. I have my NuGet package. It says Blazor component. I misspelled it. Component utilities. There we go. Now we're starting to cook. We do have an error though. So I've got something in my that has failed at runtime that I'm doing something wrong here. I have probably a null reference exception or something in here. I'm wondering if that, yeah, I have, oh, I know what it is. I have a component. This actually needs to go in a component. I'm using it as a page here. It needs to be in a component. So let's create a new component. And this one's going to be box list.razor. I want to take checkbox list, and I need to get the code again. And I want to be able to share this online. That'd be really cool. And then I can write a blog about it, and I can embed it in the blog finally. That's one of the things that's been kind of holding me back with some of my blog posts. It's hard to really get a good interactive example. You got to paste a bunch of screenshots in there. People have to download the code and run it. I need my using statement again. Using Blazor component utilities. And this should compile. We're not going to run anything. We don't have anything on our main Razor. So then we need our checkbox list component. So in my GitHub repo, which is off screen, I'm going to go into the test page for this and get that homepage out, and we'll paste that in. So this, again, is something we built on the show. And it's in a GitHub repo, but now we can actually build it and share it where people can run it and touch it. And I've got a bind issue here. Attribute names could not be inferred by bind attribute selected items. So I have something that is not typed correctly. I'm wondering if there's a C sharp. No, I'm using C sharp 9 on this project, or 10, 9. And I'm wondering if that is valid in the REPL. Bind selected items. Bind attribute should be bind value along with the event parameter. So I wasn't getting that before. Let's see here. There it is. Bind event on input and bind selected items. Which line am I seeing this at? I don't have a line number that's valid there. So let's see which one of these be temporarily. These were on input. Let's try to take those off for a moment and recompile. The demo gods are against me today, and it's all my own code that's now it's all my own code that's doing it to me. This is classic me. All right. So it has to be my bind attribute on my checkbox grid. So let's just bind to selected items for a quick moment. All right. So it's something with my data source here that's not lining up correctly. Very interesting. So I hate to abort another one here. Let's try something. So let's try another feature of Telerik REPL for Blazor, and maybe I can get my project in there and working. I'm being a little fat fingered today. Along with the online tool that you see me using very poorly right now, very poorly. We do have some Visual Studio extensions as well. So let's go over to Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to launch into the Visual Studio extension page. I'm going to hit download. And I'm going to run this extension and let this install the Telerik Blazor extensions into Visual Studio. And this is going to give me some new abilities in Visual Studio to interact with Telerik Blazor REPL. And Eva's here. Hi, Eva. You're missing me. You're missing me. Fail miserably at coding today. I have a cool new tool, and I just can't seem to code right. So I'll install that. We'll be able to open up Visual Studio and actually edit inside of Visual Studio and push our code up to Telerik Blazor REPL. I think my problem is I'm taking off projects that are just a little bit too big for this. I should do some dev improv and just take suggestions from chat here and ask what you would like to see me build, because every time I try something, I go too big and I run into a brick wall. I misnamed the component earlier. Is that what it was? I closed that REPL out. So we'll take a look at that in a second. I'm going to open up Visual Studio Preview. And let's actually see here. I wonder if I'm using, again, a Blazor 6.NET 6 feature or something that was making that a problem. I should have vetted some of these examples before I tried them on live streaming. Let's go ahead and open a project. And let me drop down to .NET 5. And let's see. If I have the have one of these examples in here. Here's a good one, Blazor Day. Let's build some of our code from Blazor Day in Blazor REPL. So these were good component examples that I did for .NET Conf last year. And these are examples to show how to do lists and data binding and all of that type of thing. And this should be a good starting point for a REPL that's not going to go off the rails again. So I have an alert box component. So here's another one where I need my Blazor component utilities. This is something I use quite often. Let's go ahead and bring in Blazor component utilities. Bring that one in. And notice I'm in Visual Studio here. So what I want to do is share. Actually, I probably shouldn't have opened that REPL yet, because what I want to do is create a REPL from here. And today is not my day. You know what? We may not have released the update for this yet. I don't think I have the update. So sometime today, jeez, I got way ahead of myself here. Sometime today, you'll be able to jump into Visual Studio, click Share to Blazor, Share to Telerik REPL for Blazor, and it will bring your code into the editor. But I think I got ahead of the team. We haven't launched that yet. Restart Visual Studio. Now, it wasn't started when I installed it, so I don't think that's going to help. I think we released the blog post, the tool, but not the plugin yet. The plugin is coming today. So different team. They probably haven't gotten that released yet. So we'll do copy paste. This is essentially what we're going to do is copy paste without having to jump from one editor to the other. So we'll do our alert box. And we'll paste our alert box in. So we've got our alert box component. And then we'll make an alert list component. So we'll come in here and say alert list.razor. So we've got two components now. And then on our main page, we should be able to use these components. So I'll jump in here and grab my alert list. And I have, I think, a service here that we're going to have to bring in too. So we need to get the service in first. So we'll go ahead and bring the service in. And this is going to be logdata.cs. We can add CS files as well. Yeah, Maria, thank you for the shirt. This is, let's see, I don't think I can, is the camera on? Can't see myself. Camera's not high enough here. I've got the official Blazor team t-shirt here, the Telerik Blazor team. So our program manager, Maria, who's in chat, watching me fumble this demo yet again, sent me this wonderful shirt. I appreciate that. Let's see. We might need to keep that class there. So let's keep that class, or that namespace rather. We'll drop that namespace up there. Get rid of this one. Maria, since you're on, did we ship the plugin for Visual Studio yet? Because I installed it and tried it, and I wasn't thinking it might not be available yet. So I think I botched that. Yeah, that happened. So we've got our log data. We can build out some pretty complex stuff in here, and this should work. And we can inject services as well. let's get our logger service up here too. So we'll add in a logger service, CS. And then we need to add our dependency injection here. There it is. So under settings here, we've got our startup. And now we can come in and register our service with the web host builder. Say builder services, add scoped, and then we need to drop in our service here. So I'm going to go over to the actual app again. And in here, we'll just borrow this here. I've got to add transient in here for some reason. Any of those should work though. Our logger service set up, and then I think that might be all the pieces. We don't have the CSS in here yet, but I think we should be good to go. If I grab my index page, did I put my index page together yet? That's going to be main.razor. I did not. So now finally we'll grab the last bits here, and then there'll probably be some namespaces that I have to tweak. Like this needs to go away here. And then when I inject my service, it is going to be, what is the namespace of that service again? It should be up here at the top of logger service. Blazor REPL user components. Logger service. Let's hit run. We might have an error too, but A does not exist. Oh, I know what I'm probably using in there. So we've got some more services. Did I update the version to? Yeah, I just updated it just now. And I didn't get the share to REPL feature on Visual Studio 2022, Maria. I could try Visual Studio Code. I could try that. I'll try that after I get this working. So in my logger service, I have, or not logger service, but logger log data, is it? It says log service line 17 and 21, log service. I'm using, and I don't know why I don't have a namespace in here, another NuGet package. So this is going to be gen foo. I bring in gen foo and install that NuGet package. So now we've created two components, a service, mock data layer, and brought in some NuGet packages here. So we're doing quite a bit. And foo, is it uppercase? I can never remember if it's uppercase or not. I can look again back at my code here, my log data code, or no, log service code. It is just gen, using gen foo. I don't know how I missed that copy and paste in there. But, somehow I did. Using gen foo. That one. And then I may need to go back and put in some CSS code. There we go. Hey, it's working. There we go. Thank God. I've been bad at coding today. So this is the list. There's some minor styling issue here with this close button I can fix. But what this example does is we have a alert box and alert list component. These are components that are abstractions of one another. So we've got an alert box, and then the alert box is used inside the alert list. The alert list is a data-bound component that has an event callback that lets us delete items from the list. So if I click on these X's, you'll see me delete the items. And they're also mapping a CSS style to the, what's this called? The the alert class. So there's a log type, an enumerator, and that's disabled. CSS map. If we look at CSS map, there's a log level enumerator, critical, error, etc. It maps it to the CSS style for those items. So we can remove those. So there we go. Got one running that I can share with everybody. So if I want to share this, this is a good example of how to build data-bound components. This has been my problem today, Maria. I want to share things. I want to try them all out, and I keep getting ahead of myself. Finally got one right. If you want to see how to do data-bound components in Blazor, so keep a count of the number of records you're binding to, have a delete functionality. So we're pushing up an event that we can delete items from, and then also do some mapping of styles to each individual item in that list. This is a really cool example, and it's all up on Blazor REPL now, and I shared the link in chat, so you can check that one out. Let's see, Rocket DevRel, if you're still here, and if this is Chris DeMars, you can go in there, restyle that, and share the style, the better styled version, make it accessible. Share the accessible version of it. Challenge is out there if you want to take it. Make it accessible. Smab UK says, took time to try out my component. Took no time to try out my component, even though I had to roll it back to .NET 5. And then Maria, if you're still here, do we have a roadmap item for .NET 6 you can talk about? Let me know if it's okay to share any news about that. Because yeah, this is .NET 5, so I did have to go find a .NET 5 example. So .NET 6 isn't quite supported yet by Microsoft, so we don't have that here. But I'm sure we'll be coming out with that soon. I just don't want to say the wrong thing here and give away bad information. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. I know it gets hard to see the code if I zoom out, but I just wanted to show, move this over so we can show the full demo is working here. So we do have .NET 6 on the roadmap, so that does confirm indeed we are on .NET 5 here. So there are, again, 2 components plus an index page, a service, and a data generation class. So that's like 5 different files here. You can see all those out here too. Main.razor is your index page, for lack of a better term. We've got our alert box, which you can see the alert boxes are drawn there. And then the alert list takes the data binding and iterates over the alert boxes and provides a delete functionality. Data.cs is just a model. Logger service is a service that I use dependency injection to resolve in the example here. And it's using a NuGet package called genfoo to generate the data. So it's generating some lorem ipsum data to fill these data points. And then startup.cs is needed to inject that service into the application. All these things are possible in Telerik Telerik REPL for Blazor. And that's not the end of it. Like there's more things that we can do here. If we wanted to point to some external CSS files, we could do that through the static file manager. So we could import some static CSS here. For example, this button is just not good. So if we want to style this button, we can either throw an inline style in here, or we could actually put it in a CSS file and bring that into the application as a static asset. If we were doing some JavaScript interop, we could also add some JavaScript files in here too, and work with those JavaScript files as a static asset. So static assets are supported as well. Now that this is working and I have shared it, I'm going to keep a bookmark of this one. I want to be able to come back to this later. And let's go back into my projects here. And on my index page, I'm just going to create a comment up at the top to remind myself that this is actually available online here. I'm going to close out of this for a moment, and then let's go over to Visual Studio Code, and we will go into our extension manager. Type in Telerik, and then I'm trying to remember which one of these it is. I should probably just install both of them. I don't know if these are auto updated. Let's see, released on update 9.15. So that one hasn't been updated yet. This one also says 9.15. Maria, it doesn't look like we have these released yet. So on both Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code, they are coming soon. They'll be able to connect your code up to, or share your code up to the what do you call it? The Blazor REPL. You can actually highlight and share code directly here, and then continue editing from here and sharing. So it takes a few steps out of sharing your code. Thanks, Maria. And if you wanted to take this example and use the Telerik components with it, even, you could do that as well. If you wanted to put cards here instead, or use other components here, maybe we could use a Telerik button here instead of this button with this really terrible looking style on it. We could come in here and do a Telerik button instead. And I know we've got some icons in here too for the Telerik button. Let's go to demos.telerik.com and look at some of the functionalities that are there. So we could mix those in as well. So you can see we have icons that are built in to the buttons here. So if I were to come in and say icon, we've got icon filter on that one. Probably don't want filter necessarily, but we could come in and tweak some of this. Let's see here. Bring in some icons for that. Smab UK kind of gave me a little idea there when he talked about icons. So we should have, there we go. There we go. So we have some icons. We could put in a nice delete button, like X circle, X outline, one of those, or just X. Looks like X will work. So we could just say X here for the icon. And go ahead and put the word delete in there too. And then once we have that, we need to map over some properties. So disabled, that is in this as well. So that last item is a disabled button. So enabled needs to be mapped over here. So on our Telerik button, we need to say enabled. Is it enable or enabled with a D? Enabled with a D. So we can bring in enabled here. And then I'm going to copy over this little bit of code that disables the button. And we'll throw a click event in there. And for the event, it's just, I think, going to be on click. So instead of this type of on click, and then this will take care of all the accessibility needs for this button. The other one, I had to put a bunch of roles and stuff on. So we'll come in here and say on click and use that to delete the item. And that should look better. Let's take this old button code out and then rerun this. And they are all, let's see, I got the disabled map backwards. Disabled map, I need to check my logic here. The thing I'm passing in is bad. So on my disabled map, if the item is, okay, so I was disabling item number 5, so I need to reverse that logic. The property is reversed in this scenario. Okay, the Visual Studio is live. Oh, sorry, I need to zoom back in, don't I? I don't know if this is a Twitch thing or what, that it's kind of scrambling the text here. Sorry about that. So we've got the Telerik button with the delete icon in it now. So that's a little better looking. Yep, sorry about that. I don't know if it's StreamYard or what it is. Yeah, it could be your bandwidth, could be my bandwidth. Eva says it looks okay for her. I did just zoom in just now. The VS Marketplace one is live. So let me try that one out. So I've got Visual Studio closed, so I should be able to install this. So we have our Telerik UI for Blazor extensions here. Let's see what this says. It's already installed for all applicable products. Let me try Visual Studio 2019. Maybe I have something going on in Visual Studio 2022 that's not letting it work. And we'll just do a new project. And my computer locked up. Probably Brexit's fault. Yeah. Let's do Blazor WebAssembly. Web application 3 is fine. .NET 5 is perfect. And I have this high-powered machine and it's screeching to a halt for some reason today. So we have a new project here. Let's go into the counter page. Accidentally press fetch data, and let's see if I can get this to work. There we go. Share to Telerik REPL for Blazor, and then through the magic of the interwebs, there's our code, and we run it. And just that easy, we have a counter. So it looks like I'm having a little bit of an issue with Visual Studio 2022. that it's not recognizing the plugin. So again, if you missed that, I highlighted the counter component, right clicked, and then down here at the bottom, since I have the plugin installed, I get a share to Telerik REPL for Blazor menu item. The extension hasn't been deployed for 2022 yet. It will come soon. We're rolling these things out today. I'm getting ahead of some of the release stuff, so bear with me. I apologize, but clicking that jumps you into a brand new component in Telerik REPL for Blazor, and then you can immediately just run that component, and there it is. So what's awesome about this is if I'm in Visual Studio, okay, I'm working on a component, I get stuck, I need help, I can just hit share and get a link and send it to friends, put it in an email, share it, email, bring up email. I can put it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, wherever my friends are that I know can help me. For me, it'd probably be on Twitter. I can say help, help, and tweet this out, and then people can immediately give me feedback on it. So that I think is a tremendous help tool, troubleshooting tool, and it's free. Like you didn't see any logins. There's no paywall here. Telerik REPL for Blazor is free to use. Community tool for you to share your code snippets, embed them in blog posts, and generally just run and interact with code live in the browser, where you normally have to install tooling, get the latest version of .NET, put Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code on your machine, all of those things. And there's a special Visual Studio 2022 version of this plugin I need. So apparently this is my problem. I had the wrong one. And it says I've already installed it. So I'll probably just reinstall that and make sure I have the right one, because what it's probably done is try to install the 2019 version on this one. So I'll take care of that. I'll do that offline, but make sure you just have the right versions installed, and you should be able to see that. And it is there for Maria, is it already released for Visual Studio Code, or is it just Visual Studio right now? So we do have it coming for Visual Studio Code. So you'll be able to do that in Visual Studio Code as well. And then you can easily just embed these things in your web pages too. I mentioned that. That's a really cool feature that I actually took and made use of on our blog post, is the fact that you can embed these in your blogs. So if you look at the blog release, there's the bit about theming there, but this is an embedded window here. So if you're reading through the blog post, we've got sharing and embedding. The embedding example is literally an embedded window from Telerik Blazor REPL, which just went blank. Why today? Why? This was working yesterday. Let's try that one more time. In my futile attempt, let's try to edit this snippet on. Okay, that doesn't link. All right, that's just not working for me either. Let's try to copy it in, and we'll create a new one. See if there's some type of error or something that's in there that somehow. Nope, it's working here. So we may need to look at that, Maria. We may need to look and see why this instance of the embedded isn't working. It was working yesterday when I put that in. Now it's not. So, and it looks like yeah, it works fine in the preview. It could be something with our Telerik.com website as well. Maybe there's a CORS issue or something. So we'll take a look at that one. But you can, for all intents and purposes, embed these with an iframe in your web pages. We have any questions out there? How are folks doing here? Yeah, it could be a cat. Oh, Chris is here. Chris, the lead engineer on this, is in chat as well. So this is an amazing tool, Chris. I think people are going to get a lot out of this, and this is really awesome what you and the team have accomplished. So this is a very good moment for the community here to have all of this up and running. More than happy to take some questions here before we wrap things up, and look forward to seeing what you all build with the new tool here. I think this is going to be a great onboarding thing for bringing more people into Blazor. If you got friends out there that are not using Blazor yet and they want to try things out, this could be a good opportunity to share some examples with them. Maybe if they're new to things, they don't want to install all the .NET bits on their machine, but they, maybe they've done some .NET in the past, or they're familiar with some C# or just want to see what you're working on. Mr. Magoo says, always wanted to keep track of these REPLs. Any plans for that? So we do have a feedback portal. I don't know if we have anything in the current roadmap, Maria, but other than like bookmarking your REPLs, is there anything planned for that type of thing? And then we do have a feedback portal, and it's probably saying there's no matching results because we haven't collected any feedback yet, because we just released this a couple hours ago or an hour ago. So if you have feedback, Mr. Mugu, wink, wink, go to the feedback portal and drop a message in there. So I think one of the things if we'd have to look at with collecting or saving lists of REPLs is we'd have to have some sort of login here to identify the person and their collection. So that's something we need to think carefully about, but I would love to hear your feedback on that one. Right now, we do have kind of this unique identifier that comes up, and you have to kind of bookmark those. But that's excellent idea. Anybody else have questions? It's been a little bit quiet since I actually got this working. Typical me, I go for like the biggest demo I can find, and tripped over myself a couple times at no fault of the REPL itself, but just me trying to do things that I shouldn't do. It just seems to work. Cool. So love to see what people are sharing. Make sure you drop like a Telerik hashtag or something on that if you're going to share something and want us to check it out. Our social media folks will latch on to that and be able to check it out too. So I hope to see everybody use this and share things, learn, troubleshoot with folks. I think this will enhance people's blog posts quite well. I know I'll be using it on my own, not only on blogs.telerik.com, but my personal blog as well. So congrats to Chris, Marie, and the team And oh, I didn't see you link something earlier, Smab. Did you share it here in the chat? Did I miss that? Oh, there it is. I've got it. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. It came up very strangely in the there we go. So Smab shared a REPL here. Is this the right one? Did I grab that? Or did I just open my own? No, this is, I think this is it. Oh yeah, this is not mine. Cool. So this is something that Smab just shared. So font awesome. Oh, okay. So this is icons with font awesome, rendering them out. And it looks like we can rotate and do pills. Very cool. It's kind of a kitchen sink for font awesome, huh? Love it. Very nice. Make sure we've got our accessibility guru in chat here. So Chris DeMar says, make sure you use your ARIA labels with these things. And we're using the minified, I guess, version of Font Awesome here in the asset manager. I wonder what happens here. If I toggle that off, I'm going to lose everything, right? Yep. So we can enable and disable these static assets here, which is really cool. So this is, looks like it's pulling from a CDN as well. So you can manage your static assets there. You can manage NuGet packages here. If you're using Telerik components, you can change the themes on this side here. And then if you're working with dependency injection and you need to add startup resources, you just do it down here at the bottom in that window there. You were converting your old tag helpers. Interesting. We may have something to talk about with that as well at some point. Don't know when. Maria, are we talking about the other thing yet? If you're still here, is it live yet? It's not in the blog post. We've got more things to announce today. Let's just say that. So, yeah, I don't see it in the blog post yet. So I'll hold back on any other comments on that and just say watch our Twitter. We have more things to talk about today as these releases come out. Yeah, I probably said too much already. So we'll just keep an eye on our Twitter. Still in the oven. We have another announcement to make later. We still have some things cooking. Yeah, well, 6.0 is right around the corner. I don't think it'll be too long. I don't want to speak for the team here, but I think we're probably waiting for that to be official. It looks like we've got some folks on .NET 6 and C# 10, Maria. So those items, I'm sure you said they were on our roadmap. I'm sure we'll get to them in pretty short order. Have those ready for folks. Microsoft hasn't quite shipped the final bits yet. It is a release candidate, but it's not the official bits yet. So we'll get there. We'll get there when they get there. All right. So we've got the Blazor REPL live in the browser. Run it, share it. Make sure you check out the Get Started page. There's lots of good resources in there. Lots of code snippets already predefined here in the right-hand side. So you can jump right into some quick examples if you need a place to get started with something. covers a bit of what I mentioned on the show about installing NuGet packages, where to add your static assets, etc. The different editor features. I forgot to mention this, I guess. The editor features the Monaco editor. If you, what is the command palette button again? It's control. And command palette button in the Monaco editor is what? I know the button works. I just don't remember what the button is. It's the same in VS Code, isn't it? And command palette is Control-Shift-P. That is not working for me. I've done it on here before. Done it on here before. I know I have. And now it's not going to work for me. F1. Hey, thank you, Chris. So you do have your command palette here as well. So this can be helpful. That's what I should have used earlier. Look at that. So I can bring my zoom level back out. I can zoom in. I can zoom in just the text this way. So you can all see better, and it doesn't zoom the UI that's around here in the shell to bring that all up. I should probably wrap things up here. Again, drop us a line at feedback.telerik.com. Congrats to Chris and Maria and the team for releasing this awesome tool today. We'll be using it here on Blazor Power Hour quite frequently as we build out Blazor demos on a regular basis. Next week's show is going to be a non-demo, non-coding show. So next week, tune in to the Blazor Power Hour. We're going to have Jeff Fritz on. Jeff Fritz and I are going to be doing a tour of what to expect for Blazor developers at .NET Conf. So .NET Conf is coming very shortly here. And if you're a Blazor dev, there's going to be things that you want to see at .NET Conf. So Jeff Fritz and I are going to just kind of hash out your schedule for you. You know, what should you see? Who's going to be talking? What are they going to be talking about? What do we expect to hear from .NET Conf? So we'll talk about that next week. And that's all I've got. Thanks for tuning in. Congrats to the team, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.